jig for you.
Jigsaw.
You'll see it. This uses an oscillating blade. Oscillating meaning moving up and down. If you've seen like sometimes a multi-tool, I think is the name of that thing, that it looks like goes like this, and you can do trim in your house. Or a Sawzall, which has the like one that looks more like a keyhole saw, and it goes like that. Anyway, that's her. We fit her with different blades. Choosing a blade, it's like choosing your outfit for the day. It's going to really change how your day goes. So these are some of the primary ones that we have in the room. And they have different personalities. Anyway, okay, so this guy here, let's start with this one, has a lot smaller teeth. They're also a lot closer together. Opposite is true of this one. This is going to be for finer cuts, but also for harder material, harder wood.
Okay.
Oftentimes you'll see things like this for, actually, if you want to cut like metal. So we have, if you popped your head into the metal shop, you would see that there's a metal bandsaw, the exact type of machine that's in the wood shop, but it's fitted with a blade that's like this, because that material is hard and dense, so it needs something that's cutting, and it actually cuts slower too. So you think it's like, okay, we're going harder, we're going faster, it's dense. It's actually the opposite. You're going to go a little bit slower, and it's going to be more precise and pointed.
So why don't people work mostly with that one then?
Because it's slow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She's slow.
All right.
And also, if you're using this tool, most likely it's not, again, a finishing type of thing. You're really just carving something out, or you're doing that initial cut for your shape.
Okay.
The shaping, the precision is going to come with sanding or like a Dremel tool or something like that afterward. But yeah, it's not so much about making it look nice as choosing the right blade that's going to give you a nice controlled cut. So something like this one, that's going to be more aggressive. It's going to happen quicker. It's better for straight cuts because it is wider. So really, you're really not going to use this blade. I just have it in here so we know. Or if you bring me some like maple or something, you're really going to have an option between these two. The main difference is the thickness of them, width of them, here and here, and then the spacing between the teeth. This is going to be more aggressive, and it's also going to be harder to make a curve with this one because it is thicker. Something like this, like thinner, it's closer to like a scroll saw. Scroll saw blade is like this thin. It's like a jeweler's saw. If you've ever seen like a jeweler's saw, that's what that blade is like. This one is a lot closer to that. Most likely you'll end up choosing something like this unless you want to do a straight cut, which I would recommend this one. Make a sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So with this blade, it's very thin. It's very little. You're going to bend it. I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay. We have more. We have a lot more. It happens. All right. It's fragile. Okay. So we're going to use that one. Those are little blades. And I'm going to, someone can be my brain. After this, we're going to talk about where all these tools live in the shop so you can find them. And we're also going to talk about cleaning up. And those are the last two things we're going to do today. So someone's going to remind me when I finish this, and I'm so tired. Got it?
You're doing great, Kelly, by the way.
Yeah, you're going and going. I'm just like...
Yeah, and it's like so precise. I put my hand here, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're just so specific. So good job, Kelly.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I love tools. Okay, I love them. They're just, because, they just...
I was going to say, it's right there.
They're just...
You with your foot.
I think I think that I spent so many years not being taught what they do. Like, people tell you, this is a tangent. This is a core tenet of my teaching practice, is that I teach what a tool does and not how to use a tool.
Okay.
Those are two different things for me. Because, like, if I teach you what a tool does, then you will find your way to use it. You have a different body. You have a different being. You will use it differently from me. So we talk a lot about what the tool's function is, and not necessarily like how you would do it,
right,
or how I would do it. So anyway, that's why it's so precise.
Pedagogy.
Pedagogy. Listen, skill-based pedagogy. You want to sit down and talk to me about it? Just leave like 5 hours. Okay, so the Jigsaw doesn't have its blade in yet. This is a battery operated Jigsaw. There's another one in there that's going to be corded. So this is its battery. This is the Ryobi. The batteries live where the drills live, and this lives in the cabinet. So when you are, we're not going to, okay, I'll show you how to put it first. This functions, you just put it in the back, like so, and then click it into place. If you need to know how much juice it's got on it, you press this beautiful button right here. It's going to tell you. So if it starts to like move and it's like not doing very well, your battery might be dying. You could just replace it. I'm not going to plug it in yet because we're going to put the blade in and everything like that. So on the front here, this is where our blade is going to live, in this spot. The way in which we put it in, so it's going to be like so, like that. Okay. This is the chuck that holds the blade on the front here, and this spins up to make the slot available. So it goes from perpendicular to parallel, so you can push the blade into place. The type of blades that we use have a T on the top, and that's going to hold that into place. You have to push it in order for it to lock around that T, and so it doesn't pop out as you're using it. And I'll show you what that kind of happens with that. So I'm going to turn this up, I'm going to push this in, and I'm going to let it fall to the side, and then it's in place. It's also sitting on these wheels in the front, and that, because this is an oscillating tool, it's going to be doing this, all right? So that's going to help with that back and forth motion, all right? And this, you won't get this the first time. It's okay, just come find one of us, we'll help you. And the reason you have to push it in is because it will it's spring, so it will like pop out. So when I did it, I gave a little push. The other thing that's important is the orientation of the blade itself. So if you notice, I'm not putting it in with the teeth facing the tool itself, but I'm actually putting it in with the teeth facing out. So when I'm using this, I'm going to be using it in this position, and I'm going to be moving it along the surface of my material. All right? So the teeth are going to be this way, and it's going to be cutting like so. All right? Okay. So pushing it into place, locking it, no problem, like that. All right? So that's it's ready to go. Now it like sticks out from my little table here, so I'm not going to continue to put it this way. I'm going to put it in this orientation. All right. On the side here and on the top, there are a bunch of settings. You don't really have to worry about them too much. This is like asking you about the material. It's also like a speed function. We tend to just leave it on 3 because it says cut speed, and 3 there's a picture of wood. So we're all simple on that one. But the one you are going to want to think about is this top one here, and then the trigger on the back, on the underside of the handle. Okay. So this top one is a little switch, and it has a plus and it has a minus. Plus and a minus. Plus and a minus.
Picture that on phone now.
Absolutely. You mean take a picture?
Okay.
Or I can do it. Ready?
And out.
Plus and minus. Plus and minus. Plus and
Mhm.
minus. That's going to be the speed of the blade. All right. So we're going to go from like moving slow to moving really fast. Initially, you might like it slow. I understand, but it tends to be easier when it's moving faster.
Okay, sorry, I had to.
I'm just gonna
Throw
that out there.
I'm done.
Throw that out there for you.
I'm done. I had a moment. It passed.
Oh, is
Continue.
it? Oh,
Keep going.
yeah,
You
sorry.
did it. You did it.
I like can't. It's
You did it.
retard. There's nothing here. It's just not. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
All right. So that goes into place. The trigger, you have control over it. So when you depress the trigger, it will start. When you let go, it will stop. I'm going to turn it on. Okay, and it will make a noise. And you'll be like,
Too loud?
"Oh my God!" It's up to you. It's up to you. I think it's very annoying. Good. We were talking about this, right? I'm really intense about ear protection to protect your hearing, but also I think the tools are a little bit easier when you're not hearing them blazing in your ears. People tend to tighten when they hear loud noises. So if that's protected, you might be a little more at ease when using the tools.
Okay.
The soapbox. I'm gonna die on it. All right, ready? Okay. Basically, this tool is the bandsaw reverse. Think about it. Okay. So this is the blade. It's cutting in the down direction. This is the material. You're cutting it this way. All right. But the only thing is we just take everything and we turn it upside down.
That just blew my mind.
Did that just blow your mind?
Just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Why do you call it jigsaw then?
Honestly, I don't know what the full
I thought
acronym
it
is.
was-
But it does a little jig.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't make jigs. I know that is confusing. That is super confusing, but it does a little jig.
Is it more precise then?
The bandsaw? Honestly, they are like sisters. They're like, because this is one of those things where you have a preference. Some people love this tool, and some people love that tool. But they kind of do the same thing. Mm-hmm. But the one benefit of the jigsaw is you can do a hole cut. So like the bandsaw, you always have to have an access point to start the cut. With this, if you drilled a hole in a piece of wood, you could start in the middle of that hole and then cut something out of your wood. You cannot do that with the bandsaw. Good question. Okay, so that is pretty much what's going on here. I'm going to set up my piece of wood, and then we're going to talk about our positioning when we're using the tool. And when I do so, I'm going to make sure that whatever I want to cut is hanging off of the table. Because this is going to plunge itself into the wood. It's going to cut past that wood. So if I were to have it on the table, I would be cutting my table. So I'm going to have it a little bit off to the side. I like to use the corners. The corners are your friends because I can put a clamp here, and I can also put a clamp here. 2 clamps are always better than 1, because if you have 1, you still have a pivot point where things will move around on you, and you will be pushing a little bit with this tool. Very little, but it's enough to kind of make it move. Do you have to do it? No, but it might move, and that's that. This is a clamp. It moves in 2 ways. The first is going to be a big motion. The second is going to be your tightening motion. Your big motion comes from this little piece that's here. That's when you depress this, when you depress this part, that's going to move you up and down. You can also do it on the back side if you feel so inclined. It's just not as fun. I like it on the inside, like that. That's going to be your first motion. Your second motion is going to be this, which is going to tighten. If this is all the way up like this, you won't be able to tighten it, so you might have to back it off a little bit like that. There's a few different kinds of clamps that are in there. You'll see like a C clamp, which will just be like a C shape, and that only has this part. These guys, these adjustable clamps, they just give you a little bit more space. We also have the like just clothespin clamps, I forget what they're called. Those guys are great, but you need to like have amazing hand strength for them. Alright, so I'm going to put my clamp in place. First motion is going to get it to a certain point, but as you can see, it's not tight. So I'm going to bring her to a tightening. Didn't think you were going to learn how to use a clamp today, did you now? Snuck that one in, because I thought you could handle it. Alright, second. Ugh. If you're near a table like that, you can also go this way. And then tighten. Alright?
Part of the whole experience.
You didn't know this, but I was making cinematic magic.
It's part of the whole experience.
Magic. It won't happen again. It won't happen again. Do you ever put ratchet something to the back of your car or like on top of your car or anything like that? No?
Ratchet or ratchet? Ratchet?
Ratchet?
I only know one type of ratchet.
I was gonna say, I thought that meant something else.
You see, you only know one kind?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're using it right.
Anyway, if you're ever ratcheting a load to your car, the rule of thumb is that when you shake it, the whole unit should move, and that means that you did a good job. There you go. All right.
Why did ratchet be ratchet then?
Ratchet. Not like, it's not.
That's a ratchet. I'm like, how did they?
Gotta go on a walk. All right.
Okay. I'm ready.
We have fun. We have fun in sculpture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to take the corner off. I'm right-handed. I'm going to have my right hand being the one who operates the trigger. My left hand, I like to keep it here because as you are using this tool, it will try to push up on you. Because if we were thinking about it, right, everything's just reversed, this blade is going to be cutting in the upstroke. All right, so that means it's going to be pushing against you. So one of your jobs as the handler of this tool is to ensure that the table, this part here, this table part, is always touching your material. So a lot of times when you start using this tool, you'll be hovering above it, or you'll be like on an angle of some sort. But this is actually the thing that's going to keep your cut consistent, and it's going to make it so the tool doesn't get pushed up into you. It's not that intense. You won't get like clocked or anything like that. But having another hand that's sort of steadying near the top, like some people do it here. Some people it's kind of, you'll find your own way of holding it, but you want to be focusing on that table. And then as you're doing that, you're watching where the blade is going. Similar to our bandsaw, you're sort of following a path. You can do a curve with this guy. But what's nice is how we were with those curves, we made an exit plan. Mm-hmm. So you would make a cut, back it out. You don't necessarily have to do that with this, because what you can do is you can stop your cut, let the blade come to an end, and then just pull it out of the material. So you don't have to back it out. You can always just lift it out. All right. Okay, I'm just gonna cut this corner, and we're gonna see how it goes. I think I'm gonna. I'm balancing it on the edge. I'm not touching the wood. Are we all in a state of ready? Yeah. All right, groovy.